The truth is, I never believed in love until I saw
It's about a
your
relationship with
face.
God. It's about a relationship.
The truth is, I never believed in
Remember,
love
this is not
until
my
I
show.
felt
This is
your
the show
grace.
God told us to do.
The truth is, I never believed in love until I saw your face.
Listen, God used a donkey one time to prophesy to a prophet who was intent, because of money and power. He wanted to get paid. He wanted to do this, and the king that was fighting against Israel at the time wanted him to go and destroy Israel because Israel was winning all the battles. So he kept on going. Every time he went to go and try to prophesy a judgment or try to provide doom on Israel, God gave Israel the victory, to the point that God had to use a donkey one time to stop him in his tracks, to tell him, stop. You know, he was a prophet. And yet God still had to discipline him, using a donkey to speak prophetically to him and say, what are you doing? I've told you not to go down that track, and you keep on going down that track. You know, many times God has dealt with me like that. When I have not been willing to listen and not been willing to go down the way He was telling me, He would always put a donkey, whatever. The donkey could be anything. It could be any kind of obstacle that God chooses at the time to stop you from destroying yourself, from going to a Christless eternity, from being dead in the next minute. I can tell you as we go how many times God has spared me from death and from total annihilation. Not necessarily because I was doing something wrong, but I believe there were many times when I was probably unaware, doing things that I thought was in the right thing to do, but God was probably not pleased with me. I'm glad today that God used prophets. I'm glad that God used prophetically teaching people in the church, people who through songs, we listen to a song and all of a sudden God just begins to minister to our heart. See, this is the thing that I'm trying to get at. We've had the prophet speaking as a teacher, prophets doing prophetic teaching, prophetic evangelism, prophetic building, prophetic this and prophetic that. And it's all good. But what God spoke to me about is that musicians and artists and creative people are prophetic people. They're prophetic people. Lucifer, the worship leader in eternity past. And let's get back onto that. Eternity past, eternity present, eternity future. God has self-existed all along. He has no beginning, no end. Alright? So we come in on chapter 15,000 and million, 0.2 billion. That's where we're at on the timeline of God. He was there before all of us were here. He created the angels before He created man, before He even created the universe. He created family. He created sons.
When I look back